Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of CrossFit Briefing and Warm-Up. The plan for today's workout is a 30-minute EMOM, so it's 6 rounds of what you've got on the board here. So you see it's split into 5 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So remember that every minute on the minute format means that you've got a minute to do each of these sections in here. So for example, you've got a minute to do 10 broad jumps, a minute to do 6 to 10 reps of single arm rows on each arm, but bear in mind that's 6 to 10 on each arm, so that's 12 to 20 total for those of you more mathematically astute. You've then got a minute to do 8 to 12 press ups and squat thrusts. Don't worry if you don't know what they are, because I'll show you. You've got a minute to do 6 to 10 single arm Russian swings, again that's 6 to 10 on each arm, and then that's 30 seconds at the end of a hollow hold or a plank. You'll probably be looking at getting a decent bit of rest going into each of these, probably 20 to 30 seconds each time, depending on how difficult the scaling options are for you. With it being a 30-minute workout, it's a relatively long one, so you don't want the first few rounds to be too difficult. You want stuff that you can move fairly consistently with. Obviously, if you've only got one weight available to you, then the main thing to look at there is just sort of scaling the reps if you need to and being consistent with the technique. But with the bodyweight stuff, you can play around with the sort of different options I'm going to show you to scale how difficult or easy each section of it is. I'll obviously give you a bit of a run through of what we're looking for technique-wise, but the main message with what's on there is just trying to move consistently the whole way through. So a little demo of each of the exercises that are in there. You've got the broad jumps at the start, so 10 of them in the first minute. A broad jump is just starting, jumping forwards, landing, and then you would just turn around and go again. In terms of how far we're looking for you to jump, it's A, going to be dependent on how much space you've got, and B, it wants to be a good jump every time if you've got the space, but it's not going to be absolutely maximal every time. If you are a little bit short of space, those broad jumps could just become vertical jumps where you just jump up in the air, or you could do a squat jump as well, so go down to a squat and then start from there. That'd be the main options I'd go for, and I would imagine for most people space will be the limiting factor on them, as well as your legs getting tired. With the single arm rows that you've got in there, for those looking for you to set up, probably in a split stance like this, and you can use your kettlebell or dumbbell or whatever you've got available to you, and we're looking for you to pull the weight up towards you and control back down. And remember that with the technique for this, we're trying to pull your shoulder back so that this front point of my shoulder doesn't end up rolled forward like that. So I'm pulling up and squeezing everything back, and I've got this split stance to make that a little bit easier. If you've got single weight, that should be fairly comfortable for you. If you're in a position where you've got something like a sandbag, that might be a little bit more awkward. If you need to, you could always change them from single arm rows to double arm rows. So you could just sit up, hold it with both hands, bent over position, and row into like that. Exact same technique, it's just that you're using sort of both hands at the same time rather than one. And remember the reps for them, 6 to 10, is 6 to 10 on each side. The third part, you've got to press up into a squat thrust. So it says 8 to 12 reps there. One rep for this is going to be starting off in your press up position, doing the press up, jump the legs up, jump the legs back. That'll be one rep in there. Obviously the press up part can be done from your knees if you need to. So you can set up and do your press up like that, and then you would come up into your forward position, jump your legs up, and jump your legs back like that. So we're just adding it in. It's suspiciously close to a burpee on them. So you've got 8 to 12 of them to do in the third part. The single arm Russian swings, they can be done with kettlebells or dumbbells or other things, as I'll mention later. But we're just looking to have the weights up in one hand. See, I'm doing it with a dumbbell here, which isn't what we normally do in the gym, but it's still exactly the same thing. If you need to, you could do, say, with a sandbag with one arm, or you could do it with a pair, and again, swing back and forth like that. If you've got a weight like a D-ball available to you that you can't really swing, you could always just do a really good, fast, powerful deadlift. So say if I've got my D-ball set up like that, and just try to drive up to standing each time. But if you've got any weight, any dumbbell or kettlebell available to you, you should be all right getting them in. And remember, again, the reps for them are on each side, so 6 to 10 reps each side each time. The last part, the hollow or the plank hold, we want to say you want to aim for 30 seconds and mediate your scaling option to suit how long you're able to do it for. So your plank hold, you can play around with these a little bit. You could do it off straight arms, like a front leaning rest. You could come down onto your elbows and do it with that sort of technique. Either is fine. Be creative, do whatever you fancy, treat yourselves. You could also go with any of the hollow hold variations, and with them again there's different ways of scaling. So full hollow hold variation, we're looking to try and set you up so it's pretty much just your bum and the bottom of your back touching the floor. If you want to scale from that position, you can play around where the arms go, or you can play around where the legs go. So for example, if I bend my knees up towards me like this, and keep my arms out above me, and I try and really tuck up into that top position, it's going to be a little bit easier than if I had my legs out, and I could do the same thing with one leg like that. And you could do the same thing with your arms too. So the main thing there is try and find something where you can do 30 seconds unbroken each time. It wants to be challenging, but obviously doable, but you'll get a little bit of rest at the end of each time. If anyone's got any more specific scaling questions about anything that's in there, you can always message me or one of the other coaches if you need to, and we can try and give you more specific advice, but hopefully I've covered the main points there. In terms of warming up for this, I've got a nice simple warm-up for you to get stuck into. So this is my magic warm-up that I've got planned. So if you want to memorise it, pause your video now and make a note of it. The plan with this is just to get the shoulders moving and then get the lower body moving so that you're ready to go into the main part of the workout. So you've got the shoulder swings, start 20 reps, just swinging the shoulders. I'm doing it backwards here. You could do it forward, you could go a bit mad, do both arms at the same time, different directions if you're really crazy. So you've got 20 of them to start. You've got the walkouts after that. With the walkouts, looking for you to go down with your legs straight, into the press up position, shoulders together, shoulders apart, and then back up to standing. So it'll be 5 of them to start off with. Once you've done 5 of those, same thing for the next one, but you'll walk down into here, rotate out to the side, same, on the other side, back up to standing. So it'll be 5 of them as well. Imagine by the time you've done that, your shoulders will be starting to feel pretty warm. Once you've got those bits in, you're just going to grab whatever weight you've got available to you, and we're going to start off with some straight leg deadlifts. So feet back, shoulder width apart, up and down from the hips. Back nice and straight on these, obviously. We're just trying to warm up your hamstrings and your bum muscles a little bit. And then while you're down there for a bit of a 2-for-1, we're going to do some rows. But we're going to do them with 2 arms because they're probably slightly easier than doing them with 1, and it just gives you a chance to practice your technique. And then once you've done that, we're going to do some Russian swings, but with both hands on, like that. So that should just give you a chance to use your weight, but each of those variations will probably be a little bit easier in the workout. Once you've done those reps, I would go through your single arm rows and your single arm Russian swings with your working weight, and just get them going a little bit. You can chuck in a couple of jumps before you start if you want to, just to test the space out. But I'd say once you've done those bits in there, you should be pretty much good to go. It's quite a long workout. Probably won't be a crazy pace to start off with, so you can kind of ease yourself in on the first few rounds. But remember, if you've got questions, particularly about things that are sort of specific to you for scaling and stuff like that, please get in touch with me or one of the coaches, and we can try and point you in the right direction.